Family members of Lucas Hernandez are speaking out about the disappearance and asking for the public's help. That's right. The president says late last year he directed Attorney General Jeff Sessions to look into bump stocks, the type of device used by the Las Vegas shooter, which makes a semi-automatic weapon fire like a machine gun. In our continuing coverage, in a statement sent to members, YMCA officials say they are making changes after an employee was accused of raping a 4-year-old girl.
It was
ugly out there.
Disaster.
Now road crews are back out making sure things run smooth this morning. Right now, there are 200 unsolved homicide cases in Wichita. In Sedgwick County, 15 of those date back to the 70s. For some, it's been decades of wondering who was responsible for their loved ones' deaths. For others, the memories are still fresh as they continue to look for answers. Tomorrow morning, family and friends will gather to remember a young family killed in a Pratt house fire. In our continuing coverage this morning, a Wichita man is behind bars this morning, charged with raping a 4-year-old girl at the downtown YMCA. Initial planning for the military parade requested by President Donald Trump, it is now underway. To cover this morning out of Topeka, we may be just settling into the tenure of a new governor. Before you know it, though, it'll be time to vote on who takes or stays in the seat. In our continuing coverage this morning, Wichita police have identified a second victim of child sexual abuse at the downtown YMCA. They say the latest victim is a 3-year-old girl. Coming up in morning media, how one California Girl Scout is making waves for how she is selling her cookies. If you're in the business of making beer, this might give you reason to have one.
It's never too early, right?
Mark your calendars. We're now just 2 weeks away from reserving tickets for this year's St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. And volunteers, they're busy building that home in northwest Wichita.
I got to see it. Wasn't that phenomenal?
It was just amazing, especially that
so
shot.
Cool.
It almost looks like it's fake, but that is really the dummy going up in space.
Yeah, the real deal.
True.
Where do you get that?
It's like, take that ice.
Well, you can get one from Elon Musk. Yeah, they know he's making those right now.
Yeah, those sold out in like 3 days.
Yeah, they did.
I need one now. I kind of had a couple of
You
falls.
needed it yesterday. You took a fall while walking the dog,
You need
right?
to walk safely.
Yes.
I was kind of
like a penguin?
Like a penguin.
I say the moon walk. Just don't walk your feet. And don't tell your dog to
We would
mush.
pay to see that. That looks like me out there. The women's ski half pipe at the Winter Olympics featured one of the most bizarre sights of the Winter Games. American Elizabeth Swanee is competing for Hungary. She's been competing in World Cup events since 2013. Why? With the approach of not performing any tricks and simply getting through the course without falling. With so few women competing in these events, Swanee was able to earn enough top 30 finishes. Are you serious with this style to be eligible for the Olympics? What style? There's no style.
Can you ski backwards?
I don't know.
That's
probably
what I
could.
thought.
Well, they got a smattering of applause this morning. The International Olympic Committee is defending the athlete. Right now, there are 200 unsolved homicide cases in Wichita. In Sedgwick County, 15 of those date back to the 70s. For some, it's been decades of wondering who was responsible for their loved ones' deaths. For others, the memories are still fresh as they continue to look for answers.
It's like they didn't even try to rob him.
November 26, 2017, the day that April Hassan's life changed forever.
He was working for Pizza Hut, and he had gone out on a delivery, and then had a second delivery in the same area, and then just didn't come back.
Her husband, 26-year-old Hassan Rahman, found shot, his body dumped in the trunk of his car in an East Wichita neighborhood. Police have searched for his killer, but so far they've come up empty, no arrests. It's frustrating for his widow.
And for somebody to say something, and because I know in my heart somebody knows something.
Police say the case is ongoing, but April fears the tips will dry up and it will turn cold. For now, she's left to explain to her kids what happened to their father.
And every car that she sees that's dark colored, she's like, is that my daddy? And then she'll crawl up in my lap and say, you know, I miss my daddy. When's my daddy coming home?
Wichita police have hope that a $10,000 reward offered through Crime Stoppers would lead to someone coming forward with information about the killer.
We probably saw more cases from people within the community coming forward. They've heard about something, they have some information on a name, a vehicle description or something like that.
But for other unsolved murders, the memories of any potential witnesses have likely begun to fade. On April 11th, 1992, 23-year-old Patricia Smith and 32-year-old owner Patricia Majors were working late at the LeBride d'Elegance bridal shop on East Kellogg waiting for a customer. Police say the killer got there before the customer, though, and shot the woman execution style. No arrests were ever made. Authorities believe the suspect was the so-called I-70 serial killer who killed 6 store employees during a crime spree in the Midwest in 1992. Even with a witness description of a suspect, the murderer was never brought to justice. For Sedgwick County investigators, the mysterious disappearance of Jennifer Wilson, who vanished in Derby September 1st, 2002, remains unsolved.
She lived at a residence in the county with a friend of hers, and then she was just one time that they left the house or something, and they claimed that they came back. She wasn't there no longer, and no one's heard from her since.
In 2016, investigators received new information that Wilson's body could be found near where she used to live. They searched, but still no sign of her body.
Separate occasions, and worked on it for several months to try and get additional leads in that case, and we've re-interviewed several of the people in that case, and unfortunately we haven't been able to come up with anything.
Wilson was declared legally dead in 2013. October 18th, 2001, the body of Melvin DeAndre Childress was discovered in this area of 69th Street North in Woodlawn. Blick says a night of hanging out with friends ended with his murder.
In a matter of an hour and a half, he was expected home, thought he would be home, and then he was not home, and he was later found dead.
Authorities had hoped reevaluating forensic and DNA evidence could help in the Childress case.
We picked it back up. We looked at a lot of the trace evidence that we found in the vehicle, resubmitted it to the Forensic Science Center to see if we could get additional DNA profiles.
Sergeant Blick says the forensic evidence sometimes just doesn't provide what is needed. It's the public's help that often cracks the case.
A lot of times just even the public's interest in the case has waned, and it becomes very difficult for older cases.
That's exactly what April Rahman hopes doesn't happen in her husband's death. Now, less than 3 months since he was murdered, she hopes someone will come forward with any piece of information that can provide answers and put a killer behind bars.
Even if it's the smallest thing that they had noticed that night that was off, that, you know, just stuck in their mind, because even the tiniest thing could be that one little thing that leads them to who did this.
Investigators tell me there really is no tip that is too small. Even if you think the information might not matter, they want to hear from you. It's one small tip from a witness that can close a case. Here for you in Wichita, Darren DEDO, News 3. The Arthritis Foundation helps thousands of people every day by giving them resources to deal with their painful condition. Tonight we meet an advocate that knows a lot about arthritis, which is why she's fighting for a cure. That's why Stacy Penner is tonight's hometown hero.
So are you running today?
A Saturday morning in December, it's where you'll find Stacy Penner cheering on folks at the annual Jingle Bell Run,
Thank you for coming.
an event that raises funds for the National Arthritis Foundation. Stacy is an advocate who knows a lot about the debilitating effects of arthritis.
My family's involvement is my daughter was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis 7 years ago, and this was just a way for us to raise awareness and raise money to hopefully find more medicine and a cure.
Stacy's daughter was so stricken by the condition, it affects her schooling and playing the sports that she loves, basketball and cross country.
She went from being my happy athletic child to she missed 82 days her 4th grade year of school and was very sickly and still isn't able to do all the things she necessarily wants to do at the capacity she wants to do them, but she's still able to do well.
That's why this mom and arthritis sufferer has made it her mission to help those with the condition.
I just want to make a difference and make it easier for others so you don't feel alone. The arthritis diseases tend to make people feel very alone, and I don't want anybody to feel alone.
Stacy is on the board of directors for the Arthritis Foundation. She's also taken the fight to Topeka, even Washington, D.C., to get government approval for medicine to treat arthritis.
Last year I testified at the Capitol 3 times, and we actually got one of our bills passed.
Today, when she's not at events like the Jingle Bell Run, she finally gets to see her daughter, who has made tremendous strides with her treatment, to now be able to play high school basketball or run cross country.
But I watch her and I'm inspired that I have to get up even though it hurts or I'm tired and just keep going.
This hometown hero says she'll power through the pain and swelling of her arthritis to raise the money needed to find a cure.
Making a difference for people, trying to be their voice, like when I get to testify in Washington, D.C. and at the Capitol in Kansas, just to be the voice for those who can't have that voice or don't know the way to get that.
Stacy says the Arthritis Foundation is a lot like a community for families. They all find the resources and support to help their loved ones deal with the disease. Here for you in Wichita, Darren DEDO, KSN News 3.